This is the second time I've had the pleasure of interviewing my guest today, the multi-talented visual artist, Mr. Kevin Kresse. It seems like every time I pick up the paper or turn on the TV, there's a news story about my friend Kevin and one of his many art projects. Kevin's work has been featured in the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, the Arkansas Times, and every other print or magazine you can think of in the state. In video, he is continually being interviewed by affiliates of ABC, CBS, PBS television, as well as a short film by his friend Garrett Larkin. And just this past year, his talent was nationally recognized. Kevin's 7-foot-tall statue of Johnny Cash, with his guitar slung over his back, was selected to represent Arkansas and forever stand in Washington, D.C. at the United States Capitol. Kevin Kresse, known for his nude drawings, oil paintings. Are they oil or acrylic?
Oil.
Oil, that's what I thought. Oil paintings. That's why you're crazy. You know that stuff makes you crazy.
It goes right, yes.
Goes right to the brains.
Right in.
Yeah.
Right to
Oil
the brains.
paintings, haunting blue eyes, and premature white hair, is now known for his sculptures and his large murals. You will recognize some, if not all, of his current work, which are a commissioned bust of Arkansas drummer and singer Levon Helm of the band, a 7-foot-tall, 1,300-pound bronze statue of the famed Ranger and war hero General William Darby from Fort Smith, Arkansas, a large outdoor mural in North Little Rock called, love this, Dogtown Proud, and I am, 2 more large outdoor works on the Little Rock 7th Street Mural Project, sculptures at Mount St. Mary's and at St. Joseph Center of Arkansas, and as I said, more recently commissioned by the Senate to represent Arkansas in the nation's capital with a statue of his Johnny Cash. It is my pleasure to welcome to the table my friend, the talented and successful artist extraordinaire, Mr. Kevin Kresse.
Wow. I think we covered everything. I'm leaving. That's it. That's done.
So I've interviewed you before. What do you think about my new digs?
Very nice.
There's air conditioning here.
That's what was throwing me. I knew there was something. I couldn't put my finger on it.
We used to, so it was 2017 the last time that I interviewed you, and yeah, there was no air conditioning.
Well, and I was also laughing because last time you interviewed me, you started asking about, well, how many did you sell at your first show? And I was like, none. How many the second show? None.
How many
your third? None. I was like, and I'm sure you were thinking, well, this is a show about successful entrepreneurs, and we might need to rethink asking you here.
So I was going to ask you if you remembered that, because I went back and listened to that show, and we got so tickled that we had to go to break.
I know, because later I was thinking there should have been an intervention. I think.
And so I was like, oh, yeah, when did you start? And he tells me. And then, what'd you sell? Nothing. Oh, well, what were you doing? Oh, nothing. Oh, what'd you, no. I was like, oh, my God, this is the worst interview I've ever done. So we're not going to revisit that whole show. But let's revisit. I do want to tell our listeners, if they want to go back and hear the 2017 show, it talks about college and a career in art. And how, there's really not a college degree that says, go out and be an artist. They all say, go out and be an architect or a designer or a ad agency.
Sure.
And that you did that. We talked about you and Bridget quitting your jobs and going to Italy.
Yeah.
We talked about your family support in the last interview. And we talked about how long it took you to get started, which I believe you said was 9 years before it could support you, 9 or 10, something like that. The twins were born when you started making money.
Yeah, I'd been, I was sputtering along doing okay before that, but of course I wasn't responsible for all of a sudden twins, and Bridget wasn't working.
You were responsible for twins.
No, I mean right before they were born,
No, you are really responsible for twins. You were there. That is why you have twins.
I was way there.
You see where I'm going?
I gotcha.
Any regrets about?
Well, we haven't done the DNA testing, so but
well, they look too much like you.
Yes, they do.
And they've got your artist sensibility, don't they?
Yes, they do.
So
all three do.
I was going to say, is your daughter still?
She had her first show last month and just killed it.
Really?
Oh, yeah,
Where's she living?
She broke my record, that's for sure.
Yeah, because she had her first show and sold something. That
yeah,
was
like 80% of her show.
Really?
Yeah.
Where was it?
It was at the New Deal studio down at 20th in Louisiana.
In Little Rock, Arkansas?
In Little Rock, Arkansas.
I thought she was living in New York.
She was doing some work up there, going back and forth, and But no, she's living here.
So what is your advice to your daughter?
My advice to my daughter.
About art. About art.
Well, for instance, like the New Deal studio, Lee and John were really, I've been there before. It's all set up. And so she had so much work. So to have a gallery show, this was great because she had tons of drawings. It was almost more like an art garage sale. So I said, well, I wouldn't worry about doing a gallery show per se. Let's see if we can rent a space, use whatever, recognition that the Kresse name has with me and then my sister Cynthia's work. And social media changes everything. I mean, you don't have to go run around putting up flyers on flagpoles like I do. And
light poles.
Yeah. So anyway, and just...
So did she show at a gallery or did she show at a garage sale or just rented a place and put all her stuff up? Which one did she decide to do?
Well, we rented the New Deal studio.
Oh, you rented the studio?
Yes, for the weekend.
And then you took it all down afterwards?
Yes.
So why did I not find out? I follow you on Facebook. Did you post it on Facebook?
I did. I reposted her thing.
Well,
these things happen. But anyway.
When was it?
A little over a month ago, end of March.
Oh, so she's not going to have another one for a while. Dadgummit.
I think she's still selling online for.
So I bought your early work, thankfully, back when it was sort of affordable.
Oh, it's just like Tesla stock.
Just like Tesla
exactly.
stock.
It's the comparisons are eerie.
Anything you would have done differently today when you think back of those times when you first started out?
Sure, everything. I don't know. I mean, I think having the job, the 8-to-5 job, was good because when things would get kind of dark, as far as the studio not selling or anything, I would go, well, it's better than the 8-to-5 job. So it's good to have those experiences to compare and contrast because otherwise I think an 8-to-5 job when things were slow might have looked like a bright, shiny thing that I would want to.
But you didn't have an 8-to-5 job. After you quit
out of college, I did.
Oh, you were a teacher.
No, I did advertising.
For college?
No, right out of college.
Oh, yes, but right after college.
Right.
But you only did that for a couple of years, and then you quit and went straight into...
Yes. I'm just saying, when I was in the studio, when I was working on my own, and things would look kind of bleak, and you're by yourself all day, so you can get in your head way too easily and start swirling around the toilet. So during those times, I'm saying an 8-to-5 job, if I had not had that experience, that could look like too much of a bright and shiny thing.
Oh, so you might have quit and gone back.
And gone back into...
But you'd already done it.
I'd already done it, so I already knew what it was about.
I'm with you.
So I can share those experiences with my daughter. And she's doing a little bit of that, Yeah.
Today I want to talk... You married the perfect woman because Bridget's been very supportive.
Oh, totally. Yeah. No, when we were... when the twins were coming, I was like, I need to be responsible. I mean, digging behind the car seat for Taco Bell change is fine for me, but not so cool as a dad. So, Bridget was the one who said, that's not who you are. That's not who we are. We'll make this work.
God, I love her. Today, I want to talk about what's happened since our last interview.
All righty.
The last time we spoke, you had a GoFund account trying to raise money to have Leon Helms' bust bronzed.
Oh, right.
You needed $25,000. You were the GoFundMe was at $11,000. What's the status of that?
It is in his home.
Bronzed?
The bronze is, yes.
So you raised the money?
Yes.
And you got it bronzed. And then there was another piece of Leon Helms' memorial or memorabilia, I don't know, museum, I guess maybe it was in Woodstock. There was a farm that they were also...
Yes. So I'm still hoping that'll work out to get a casting to go to Woodstock.
So they're still kind of struggling to get his farm up there working.
Yeah, I think they're still, that's
his daughter.
Thing. Yes.
And the one
Amy.
that your bust is in what city?
That's in Marvel, because he was from the suburb of Marvel, Turkey Scratch.
Yeah.
So great.
So you can't make those things up.
No, right? Turkey Scratch.
Turkey Scratch. I love it so much.
Arkansas.
So the bust is in his home, which has been refurbished, redone.
And open to the public?
And it's open to the public.
Nice. Where is Turkey Scratch close to?
Marvel.
Where's Marvel?
That's over by Helena, sort of.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure. Where all the music comes out of.
You bet.
I think the most interesting thing about the Leon Helms story from our last time we interviewed was how many times you watched The Last Waltz
Oh, yeah.
to get an idea and to get to know the character, and then how you finally decided on the bust pose. Tell
Yeah.
our listeners what it is. Because when you see it, you know it.
Yeah. Well, I actually had a different, it's him singing. He would put so much of himself when he was singing. I mean, he just amazes me, the physicality of his drumming, and then to be able to force all that volume of air out to be singing, and then to be hearing, especially in Last Waltz, he had horns behind him. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal. So anyway, I had him, I think originally like maybe like a vowel sound of O or something when he was singing.
No, it was the end.
Was it? Well, I know.
Oh.
And then I said, this isn't working. And I started reworking it until I could find one that I thought fit. And then I went, there it is. It's right in between the N and the I.
On Night.
The night. Yeah.
What's the tune? What's it? What?
It's The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down.
Gray, The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down. You know that song?
Yeah, I couldn't sing it to you.
The
but
night.
she
There it
can.
is. They drove Old Dixie down.
Okay.
And all the bells were ringing the night.
This is the second show we've recorded that Mom has decided to sing.
And I can't sing.
It's astounding.
And she breaks into the same song every time. That's it.
No, it's not always the last one.
They always talk about how I can't sing. And my son, who's a friggin' opera singer over there, won't help
No,
me.
see, I was going to jump
to?
in just because that's us. But then I thought, but Bridget has a great ear, see, and I trigger migraines in her when I sing, so I've learned to
So see,
stop
that's
myself.
what Gray does. He's like, Mom, please no. All right, you had
putting
also
words in my
just finished installing the William Darby statue in Fort Smith, and there was a 90-year-old ranger there who was part of the
Yeah.
Darby Pier. Do you know if he's still alive?
He died a few months after that. I think he might have been 95. I don't know. Anyway, he was old. Yes. William Punch Darby. I mean Gallup. William Punch Gallup.
Oh,
was
you
his
remember
name.
his name?
Yeah. His nickname was Punch because he was a 1940s Golden Glove champ.
Was he the only guy that came for the installation of that statue?
Oh no, there were
from-
tons of rangers there.
Oh, they were.
But he was the only one from Darby's original 500 men.
So we've talked about two bronzes you've done. One down by Helena in
Mhm.
Leon Helm's house, and then one in Fort Smith, this big 7-foot, 1,300-pound
Right.
statue. And I didn't realize that ranger from Fort Smith started the Rangers.
Yeah, in fact, they were called Darby's Rangers.
I thought that Texas Rangers were the Rangers.
No, Darby's Rangers. In fact, there's a movie. What's his face? It was his first movie. He played Darby. I'd have to look it up. I'm brain farting his name.
Oh, darn.
He was in a TV series later, and in the 60s and stuff.
Uh-huh. Tell us when you heard you'd been awarded the commission to represent Arkansas and sculpt this 7-foot-tall Johnny Cash,
Yeah.
and what you did.
Okay. So a couple of things. It's actually going to be 8 feet.
Oh,
Yeah.
Even better.
even
And then
better.
on a 3-foot pedestal, it can't exceed 11 feet are the rules up there. So he'll be 11 feet altogether.
Oh, and he's got that guitar on the back.
He's got the guitar on the back. His left hand is over in his chest where the guitar strap goes through, and then in his right hand, kind of tucked back, is the Bible. He was actually an ordained minister, but
Always, or just in his late older?
I think his later part. His cousin told me that.
Oh,
That's cool.
can you get that online? Can you become?
I have zero idea about
You
that
can.
one.
That's
So
what I thought. You
My
could.
husband is ordained, technically. Drew,
Your husband.
who is my husband? Yes. Uh-huh.
Well, anybody can get one. Then.
That's exactly right.
Sorry, Drew. Go ahead.
So anyway, so how did this come about? Okay, this is kind of interesting. When I did the bust of Levon, I was talking to the people in Marvel. So the house was not open at this point. It's just one of those little shotgun houses with the little porch that runs the length of the house. And they said they would find people from all over on his porch. They'd be from Japan, New Zealand, all over Europe. And they were just coming to see where Levon grew up. And I thought, this is amazing because a lot of people don't know who Levon Helm is.
Yeah.
And I just started thinking back then of all the amazing, influential musical artists that come, especially from the Arkansas Delta side. And so I started going, see, we have Johnny Cash. There's Al Green.
Rosetta Tharpe.
Sister Rosetta Tharpe. 10 miles down the road is Louis Jordan. Those two are probably the two people most responsible for rock and roll music. Big Bill Brunsey. There's the Silver Fox, Charlie Rich. There's
Charlie Rich is from Arkansas?
Colt, Arkansas. There's Conway Twitty.
Conway Twitty, yeah.
Of course, then move over. The Glenn
player?
Campbell is over from Delight and everything.
Right.
So anyway, I just started cataloging all these people.
Jordan.
He's from Brinkley. Right. So, I mean, I can keep going. I mean, William Grant Still from Little Rock is first African-American to have a major orchestra perform his work. Same as a female is Florence Price.
Yeah,
who's from
Florence
Little Rock.
Price.
Pharaoh Sanders from North Little Rock.
Oh, my gosh, it does just go on and on.
It's incredible. And so I was like, why are we not promoting these people? And so at that point, I just started a little build it and hopefully they'll come project on my own. So I started sculpting bust, and I did Johnny Cash 1960s version.
What's that? What would that look like?
Oh, just short hair, the pompadour.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I did Al Green. I did Sister Rosetta Tharpe. Started on Louis Jordan. I did Glenn Campbell. So all these are on my own. They're not cast yet or anything.
So they're all sitting around in your...
Yeah, I have like my little Madame Tussauds thing in my house for a while. Now they're over in the...
Tussauds.
in my,
Please tell me they're not made of wax.
yeah.
So are you going to sell them?
Well, the idea that I have is I want to find the funding, maybe a foundation to grant fund it. I'd like to cast two. I'd like to find a central location, especially maybe downtown where the tourists are coming through. And then, actually for the Arkansas years as well, so many people don't know that these people are from here.
Right.
And have them grouped. And then the other casting go to the hometowns of all these people.
So what do you mean two castings? You mean...
Cast the sculpture twice.
Oh.
Have one casting here for the group and then the other one in the hometowns.
And you're thinking like a sculpture garden downtown or something like that?
Something where they're together, and so you get the power of walking around and people going, oh, I didn't know Al Green was from Arkansas. Oh, I didn't, just as we were just talking about, oh, I didn't know he was from Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds so cool.
I'm so in love with that
I know,
idea.
me too.
Yeah, I think it would be
Let's see,
incredible.
how many of those played in Dreamland? Louis Jordan.
Al Green did, didn't he? No.
And I don't know if Al Green did, but I know Rosetta Tharpe did.
Mm-hmm.
The only person I can't find Elvis Presley ever played in the Dreamland Ballroom, which I'd like to find. I mean, it would be mostly the African Americans that you listed.
Right. So anyway, so that's the idea.
Okay.
So I started that on my own.
Okay.
Okay. Here's the other weird thing.
Okay.
When we were living in Italy for a year in 2010 to 2011, we met a couple from Portland, Oregon. Nick and I just hit it. He reminded me of my two best friends, like a blend. We just started giving each other, just messing with each other. Right.
Shit, just go ahead and say what you're
okay,
giving each
I
other
can
shit.
say that. All right. Yeah. I was trying to watch him. Anyway, he was wonderful. And so they had two daughters, and they were wanting to do a year in Italy. So they ended up picking our brains a lot about how we pulled it off. And so they ended up doing a year in Genoa, Italy. So then probably around that same time we did the interview, Jacqueline, the wife, she wrote a book on how to do a year abroad. And so she emailed me and said, I've got a bunch of fact-checking questions because you and Bridget are in the book, quite a bit. So anyway, I answered those. And she goes, what are you working on? I said, well, right now I'm doing a bust of Johnny Cash for this project that I've got going on my own. And she goes, oh, I'm friends with his youngest daughter, Tara. She lives here in Portland, and we're in a writers group together. Do you want me to connect you two? And I said, this is too great. So anyway, we were born 2 days apart. Tara and I were born 2 days apart. And so we became pen pals, and I would send her pictures. I still haven't met her in person.
Still?
No.
She afraid to fly or something?
Well, no, I mean, I'm just doing this, so I'll be sending her pictures and stuff and everything. And anyway, so during all this process, then I start hearing the talk about the possible DC project. And now Daisy Bates was chosen first, and she was in. And then there was a lot of discussion about who the other person was going to be. So I think towards the end, it kind of was coming down between Johnny and Sam Walton.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, obviously we know how that turned out.
Did they pick Johnny Cash before they saw your sculpture, or did
yes.
they?
No, that had nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it. Right. I don't think anyone knew I was around here that I was even doing that.
Yeah.
So anyway,
you heard that it was going to be Johnny Cash, and so you thought,
oh, I had my pom-poms out going hard before,
go, Johnny, go.
Go, Johnny.
Go, Johnny, go. I'm going to sing again. Go,
Oh,
Johnny,
yeah.
go. No, so how did you apply?
Oh, man, it was like writing your thesis paper and
For a
doing your
PhD.
taxes, 10 years of tax. It was a long, application.
How long did it take you?
It took a long time.
Months?
I threw my hat in the ring for both of them, and I didn't make the top 3 on Daisy, but obviously made the top 3 on Johnny.
Did somebody from Arkansas get Daisy?
No, Benjamin Victor, he's in Idaho, and he already has several pieces in the Capitol. So
once you get your foot in your door, you might get to do more?
maybe. It just, it's all a competition. You have to throw your hat in the ring every time. They're not just going to award it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so then, I think my packet was almost 48 pages long or something,
Golly.
with photos and all that kind of
So
stuff.
you FedEx it up there, I guess.
I was able to bring mine in and hand drop it off at the Capitol, since I was about 2 minutes before the deadline. So typical
Such
of me.
an artist.
And anyway,
Well, but that's good. They got to see you.
yeah, for whatever that was worth. But so I handed it off, and then then I was told I was in the top 3, and then we were given, I'm trying to think now, maybe a few months to come up with the models to present to the committees.
So the 3 of you have to come up with models.
Yes.
Okay. So are you contacted your senator by now? Are you thinking, I need some help on the inside?
That was crossing my mind, but I didn't want to have that. I wanted to win on my own bona fides.
Don't be so naive. Call
No,
in everybody.
Artist integrity,
Oh,
mother.
Mo.
Artist
All right, go
integrity.
ahead.
Well, and not only that, I ended up cutting off conversation with Tara and everybody, because I didn't want any
Influence.
yeah, well, I didn't want anybody coming back, oh, that wasn't fair, he's friends with Johnny's daughter, or anything like that.
Oh, I get you. Okay, so now you're down. You got to put 3 together, and you're thinking, I've got 3 months. What am
Right.
I going to sculpt? Did you
Right.
already know what you wanted to sculpt? I mean, you'd done one of him in the 1960s, and you're thinking, am I going to do the slick pompadour?
Right. No, and I ended up thinking probably early 1970s, when he had the TV show, was probably his most recognizable time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd already kind of zeroed in on thinking I needed to do that time. And he was healthy, and he was, it was a good stretch
Is
there.
that what you did, the 70s?
Hmm?
Is that statue of the 70s?
Yeah.
He had long hair?
Yeah, he was probably around 40 at that time.
He kind of had long hair on the statue.
Yeah. It's that in between when the pompadour's growing out and then the hair's getting longer on the back. Yeah, that type of thing. So
Okay, so I know you did a lot of work on Leon's pose, because of the
Sure.
last year's interview,
Right.
a couple years ago interview, you talked about the process and how long it took you to do
Right.
it. So how did you?
okay, I
Finally
needed a
figured it.
model. And then it hit me one night. I thought, oh my God, there's all these people out there doing tribute shows. So I got online and started looking, and a lot of them were doing younger Johnnies. But I found this guy, Terry Lee Goffey. He's about that time frame. And I thought, well, he looks like that would work. And so I contacted him and told him who I was and what I was doing. And he wrote right back. He said, oh, I'd be honored to do that. And I said, great. So I was thinking he'd be somewhere in the South. And so I said, well, where do you live? And he goes, oh, about 50 miles outside of Cleveland. And I went, that wouldn't be Cleveland, Mississippi, would it? But so anyway, I said, fine, I'll fly up there. And he goes, no, my wife and I, we've got this tour. He goes, we don't mind driving to Little Rock. And I said, no. I said, I don't know if I have this gig or not. And I said, my residual Catholic guilt won't allow that. And I said, if I don't win, I said, then I'm committing Kerry. I mean, so we ended up meeting in Nashville.
Oh.
And super nice. Both were really wonderful. But the thing is, Terry is a stickler for detail. So he had the exact guitar. He had the exact guitar strap. Later, the Cash family sent all three of us Johnny's measurements. And I sent them on to Terry. I go, oh, you just might find this interesting. Here's Johnny's measurements. And he goes, oh, well, by the way, I use the same tailor who made Johnny's clothes. He makes mine. And he did my measurements. Let me see if I can find them.
What?
And I was going down the list, and it was like same, chest, same. Except that Johnny had a size 13 shoe, and Terry's a size 11. So I told him, you're not trying hard enough, dude. You got to get those toes out there. So, but anyway, he was great. And I had the pose in mind, but I had the weight a little different. And then we were in the room, and he goes, well, I'll do that. And he went on that back leg, and the hair on my neck just stood up. I looked over at Bridget, and her eyes were as big as saucers, and we both knew that's it right there.
What?
The pose.
The pose. Went on his back leg.
Yeah, the weight, shifting of the weight that we had going. It
And
just,
then
it fell in to where you just know. You just know.
And then the guitar on his back
Right.
is just, I just love it.
Well, that was so him too. You start looking at photos, and you'll see, he would do that so often.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And then the way he's got his head down so you don't have to do his face.
Oh, no, the power's in the face.
Where
think about
is his
this.
face? You can't see it, though. He's looking down. You got it underneath to look up.
He's going to be 11 feet up.
tall, so you're going to be looking at him in the face.
I've never seen the face then because I'm looking at it always as a level photograph.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about that. He's going to be 10, 11 feet. The face, the head will be up there.
So he's going to be looking down at you.
Yes, but through you.
But through you.
Because I want to focus the eyes where he's not. Because it's an introspective thing.
So what's Johnny Cash thinking?
Here's the deal. I had to come up. So for me, it's an emotional goal that I'm after, right?
Yes.
So I create a story in my head about what's going on. So if you go to Dice for the Johnny Cash Heritage Festival, they build this huge stage next to the childhood home. It's out in the fields. There's nothing around. And they've had Alison Krauss and Chris Christopherson, all these people that come and play.
Really?
Yeah. So the dream sequence that I had going was Johnny comes back. He's going to play at the festival, his own festival. He hasn't seen the house refurbished yet. So he's gone through the house for the first time. He's reliving all these memories. He comes out on the porch. He's getting ready to go play. That's why he has his guitar and everything. And he's looking down. He's looked out at the fields. He's thinking about his brother that died and everything. And then he's looking down, reflecting on his life before he gets ready to walk over to the stage. So it's this very introspective time. So that's the thing I keep in my head when I'm working on it, to pull me back.
He was borderline depressed all the time.
He definitely had his demons for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why he has the Bible, because that was the thing that really
kept him grounded.
Yeah, kept him going.
So do you know where they're going to put your statue in the Capitol?
I do now.
Oh, where?
So when you walk in, the visitor center's on the east side. You go underground, basically, and enter. And he's replacing the Senator Clark statue. And that's this wide hallway. And then there's 2 more sets of stairs that go down to this new Emancipation Hall. It was built in 2000, finished in 2008, I think. Anyway, there's skylights that are actually ground level, but you're way down underneath.
Uh-huh.
And where he was supposed to be was actually on that mezzanine level where you first walk in before you take the next set of stairs down. And I was looking up there at the end of January. I was up there being given a tour, and I said, well, how tall are these ceilings?
Oh.
Because they look pretty low to me. And about a week after I got home, they finally had the measurements, and they sent it to me, and they said 11 feet. I said, well, he's 11 feet.
So you're going to go in and go down, and then down. What's the height down there?
Oh, it's cathedral height or something. I mean, it's nice.
So how much does he weigh? Do you know yet?
By the time he's cast, he'll probably be in the 1,500-pound range or something like that.
So you've submitted your So what do? You take a picture and mail it to them, or you send something to them? You can't send up a clay model; it'll break. So so you have to send pictures up of what you're down to the 3rd submission. You're in the last 3, and you have to submit for the last 3, and you have to make a
Okay, back then, yeah. When it's the final three, yeah, we do our clay models, and then we bring we physically bring.
How do you get it up there without breaking it?
Well,
They're small.
Carefully, yeah.
They're small models.
Right.
So
yes.
how tall's the model?
My full standing model was 3 feet.
So that's how you knew it. And then
but I also did the 1 1/4 bust. I went ahead and did that as well. I went full out
you
for
sure
this
did.
because, Benjamin already had several pieces in the Capitol. The other finalists did work on, what's his face, Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. He was the sculptor,
Cool.
So this competition was stiff.
Yeah.
So I said, I got to bring it. I cannot not do anything.
So you brought a big bust.
Yeah, and Johnny has an extremely difficult face.
He does. Why?
Because you're taught mouth, nose, eyes, parallel, center line.
Yes.
All of his is slightly off. So if his nose kicks off a little bit this way.
Yeah.
The eyes and the mouth are kind of moving at a different angle towards one another. And so if you do what you're supposedly supposed to do as an artist, it's just not going to look like it.
He's not very attractive. Let's just be honest.
Oh, I think he's amazing looking.
It's weird how some people think he's attractive.
He's fascinating looking.
Yeah.
He's always got that like kind of cocked eyebrow and kind of that
his
sullen
eyes
cowboy kind of thing.
Those
and
dark eyes,
very
just,
intense. Yeah.
I just think he has a presence, but I don't think he's somebody you would see on a poster and go, "That's a good-looking guy." It's about his presence, I think, more than anything.
Yes. Well, that's what.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
So you take it up there, and then how long do you have to wait?
It seemed like forever because I was just like dying. I felt good about it. I mean, after the presentations.
Did you have to do an oral presentation with
Oh,
him?
yeah.
Well, who could not like you anyway? So that seals the deal right there.
No, I mean.
You're a good artist in the way that you can also articulate and sell yourself. Not all artists can do that. Some artists are so in their head all the time that it's hard for them to get the words out. But you have a good gift of gab, too.
Words put together make sentence. Many
exactly.
make paragraph, yes.
So how long do you have to wait? A couple of weeks, a month?
No, I think it wasn't too long. It was maybe a week or so.
Okay. Oh, that's not very long.
No.
So you get the phone call. Is that how you got it?
Yeah, actually, I was down at
call you?
Boulevard down on Main Street. The guy at the Secretary of State's office.
Arkansas?
Yeah, here. Was calling. In fact, when I left after the presentations, I told him, I said, listen, if I don't win, text me. I will call. I promise I will call you back, but I will be too heartbroken to hear the news verbally. So just text me. And so I'm at Boulevard down on Main Street, and actually I'm with my old friend. I happen to run in Robert Best, who's
another
So Robert's
sculptor,
down there, and I'm talking. I'm going, I'm waiting, and then I look down and I see that the Secretary of State's office is calling.
And you're like, I told him to only call if I won.
Or did you just lose it right there in the middle of the restaurant?
Oh, I got teary-eyed. Yeah,
Oh, I'm about to get teary-eyed just thinking about it.
Yeah,
I got
it was
goosebumps
huge.
on my legs.
Yeah,
You're
it was
gonna
big.
cry again right now.
I am going to cry again.
Everybody always cries on this show. So how long is it going to be before you get it done?
So right now, the 3 foot. I just got approval just a few weeks ago.
The final approval.
The final approval. They were worried about the guitar. Daisy got approved early on, so Benjamin's already probably close to finished with his clay.
Are you and Benjamin friends?
Yeah, we are now. Bridget and I invited all the artists over to our house for dinner after the presentations because we didn't know.
In Washington?
No, here after we made the day that we all made our presentations, because we didn't know who had won.
But they don't live
point.
here.
That's why everybody came in town to do the presentations.
So in Washington, D.C.?
No, here in Little Rock.
For the Arkansas sculpture, they came to Arkansas.
Oh, so you made your presentation in Arkansas?
Yeah, at the Capitol here.
Oh, I was thinking you did it at the Capitol
No,
in Washington,
I'm
D.C.
sorry. No, we were here in Little Rock.
Oh,
so
I get you.
yeah, so Benjamin had come in from Idaho. My friend Brett came down from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and so people, yeah.
And so now y'all are all friends.
Yeah, we invited everybody over for dinner, and he came. His wife was pregnant, and then Brett came. The other woman had to catch a flight, so she couldn't. The other guy.
Were there very many female sculptors?
Just one. That was in the final.
Are there very many in the whole industry of sculpting? Are there very many female sculptors?
not a lot.
I would think
Not a lot. At
So
all.
let's talk about the process. You make it into, I kind of heard this I watched your French Hill interview that you did, I think, a week or so ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember you telling him that you made it 3 feet tall.
Right.
And then you took photographs of it all the way around and
Right.
sent it off to somebody who then makes a
Okay.
styrofoam replication.
Oh.
Because I'm like, how do you
Okay.
get from 3 feet to
To
that?
8 feet.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Well,
they-
you either do it you either just do your own armature out of metal, steel, like rebar, and build it up yourself. Or what I'm doing right now is the 3-foot version is I take it, they scan it vertically, and then move the whole piece 1 degree, scan until they go 360 times around.
Make a 3D model.
Yeah, and then they have large blocks of foam, and it's like a wooden lathe. Then I say, I want it 8 feet. The computer says that, and it goes, "Rrr, rrr," and it starts carving it all the way down vertically, and the whole block of foam turns 1 degree, and it does it again and cuts it out. So the final piece, it's not. It's
it
not
is
like,
3D
it's not like,
modeling.
It's like,
Yeah.
I was going to say it's like 3D printing.
It's like 3D printing.
but it's
yeah.
foam,
Right,
Mhm.
yeah.
It's because if I'm off a little bit, then I'm off more
Mm-hmm.
on the big one, and so I
Mhm.
can use a knife and I can cut if I
Foam.
need to shave off, or I just build the clay up, and it makes it a lightweight armature.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not done. It looks like it'll look like my model, but almost like a light coat of snow on it. That's about the detail I get. So
Mhm.
I'm articulating, resculpting everything with the clay on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it gives me a lot of flexibility. I can cut the head off, look at it from all angles, put it back on, cut the hand off, work it, put it back on. So I can. It's great for that.
Do you use an electric kitchen knife to cut the head off?
No, I use a little thin wire.
Oh, really?
Because it's clay, right?
Yep.
Like a cheese. Like a
No,
cheese.
Yeah,
no,
and then I use
no,
fill
no, no,
foam.
the foam thing you can cut the head off of.
Yeah.
Oh.
The foam is like
Is it like
it's
floral
like
foam? Like
yes,
real
that's about the
small?
closest
Yeah.
analogy. Would be like what you stick fake flowers in.
Mm-hmm.
But now we're going to talk about where to find all of your outdoor. I think you're really into outdoor. This is just me
Mhm.
thinking that, but you used to be into drawing
Yeah.
nudes,
Mhm.
which I actually have a couple of, and I'm sorry, but I kept them under the bed, and you
Don't want to scare the kitties.
Well,
Right there.
Well,
Well-
you scared. You
Oh yeah,
scared
my
us anyway.
self-portrait I
Your
heard was at the top
self-portrait.
of y'all's
Yes,
staircase.
you
or something.
stared down at us as we snuck into the house
What are you doing coming in
for
this late?
years
Right
at
there.
the top of the
So
stairs.
you have to tell the listeners that I have a self-portrait of Kevin Kresse at the top of the stairs on the way upstairs, and it is a scary, one-eyed picture of a crazy man. And
It's
the
awesome.
kids,
It's
were
amazing,
like,
but-
when you were young, you were like, "Take that picture down, Mom. He scares me." I'm like,
I mean,
"Good."
Right. Well, I don't know if I wanted
There
to
was a
take it
reason
down,
for that
but
placement.
Yeah, right. It was
But-
good. He's always you're always peering down the
Yeah, I had
stairs
the big
with one eye.
one eyebrow.
That's so good.
And now you're at the front door.
Oh,
yeah.
scare away
Mhm.
people
Now-
coming up to the door.
Now you're at the very front door. When you're leaving, it's like, get out now. No, but so you were doing nudes. What did your wife think about you always drawing naked women? I've never asked you that, and I've
No.
often wondered, and I meant to ask Bridget actually that. What do you think about your husband going to work with naked women every day?
Well, it wasn't every day. It wasn't. They weren't all nudes, but and there were also plenty of nude males.
I
as
have
well.
a male.
Okay, well, see, there you go.
There you go.
She never thought twice about it. I mean, I've been doing it since college, and so she just always said, because she had friends go and ask her that. Well, he's by himself in a studio with, some female who doesn't have any clothes on,
And I saw Frida Kahlo's movie
well,
with Diego.
Oh Lord.
yeah, Diego and I are just,
yeah.
You and Diego.
yeah, she did right. No,
You
and she
have
would
too
just
much
say
Catholic guilt to do anything.
exactly. No, but no, she just said, well, that's his job. That's what he does.
So was it an incident that happened that took you from drawing and painting,
Mhm.
or was it just this organic change?
It was an
into-
organic change. I was doing, when I started teaching it down in the museum school, the art
Mhm,
center, that was
mhm.
probably right when I got married, in 92. Then I started jumping into sculpture classes. And those water-based ones you fire like pottery or something. And so appendages, fingers and male appendages might be getting broken off when you're moving the sculptures around. And so then I went out to UA, Little Rock, and learned how to cast bronze.
Oh.
So I started doing that. And then Bridget's old friend, her dad had one of these starter castles overlooking the river. And I had a spot for a sculpture in front of his house.
And so starter
he
castle?
Yeah, it was just, one of those new
Starter castle.
those big houses.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Anyway,
So
go ahead.
anyway, his wife was the decorator, but she had passed away. So anyway, I was talking with him. He ended up doing my first bronze.
Is that the one you did in the back of my house?
No.
Remember the big, huge picture you did of a working man in the back of Flag and Banner? We were letting all those
yes.
artists.
It's like a John Henry on steroids. That
Yes.
That's right.
I don't know if Son Gray knows this, but the back where the warehouse is, where our flags are now, used to just be an empty warehouse, and all these artists used to get to use it for free because I
it was. It was a great
Was
space.
that the sculpture you're
Yes,
talking
that's
about?
exactly the sculpture I'm talking about.
So that was the beginning.
That was my very first large sculpture.
It was huge.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, little life size, a little bit over life size. So, did that, and that was my first bronze. And then P. Allen Smith saw that, and he brought me on to do Baptist Hospital, which was a totally different thing. But anyway,
What'd you do for Baptist?
Good Samaritan scene. It's in the
Where
garden
is
in La Roque Baptist Hospital.
it? In the garden,
The
out
garden,
front?
yeah,
Out front?
right.
Oh, okay. So there's
It's very
one you
loose.
There's
very,
one you can go see.
Yeah, very loose. So anyway, and then that, when I was working on almost finishing that up, then the library had a call for entries for a bust of the writer D. Brown, Buried My Heart at Wounded Knee, for the D. Brown Library. And so I ended up winning that, and that was my first
Where's that library?
commission. It's in Southwest City on Baseline, I think.
Okay.
And anyway, just like I said, kind of like Tarzan, I've got a vine I'm swinging for, and I'm looking for the next one. And it's been like that for 20-something years.
It just keeps evolving.
It does.
And that is, I think, something about all entrepreneurs, and artists and actors to me are the ultimate entrepreneurs because they never know where their next dime's coming from.
You don't.
I had Joy Lauren Adams on here one time, and I said, you're the ultimate entrepreneur because you're always working on the next project. She said, I never think of myself as an entrepreneur. And I said, oh, my gosh, you an artist, you freelance people are the ultimate.
Right. Yeah, you got to wear a lot of hats, for sure.
So then after that one, you did.
Well,
so we've told our listeners, we're kind of telling them there's the Baptist Hospital.
In town. Okay,
The
yeah.
Baptist Hospital, the one at the library.
Well, I'm trying to think around town. I mean, these are out of order, but I mean.
How about Mother Earth in North Little Rock?
That's still one of my favorites.
Is that what it's called, Mother Earth?
Yes.
Where is it?
It is on 5th Street in between Main and Maple, kind of behind Capeo's restaurant.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice one. And you can kind of play on that one. Kids can kind of
Yeah,
climb
they can
all over.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that one. I love that one. I didn't know you
Thanks.
did that one.
Yeah.
And then St. Joseph of Arkansas.
St. Joseph's, yeah, I did a donation. Right, I did that.
And
At
that is at the old St. Joseph
Orphanage. Right. So,
Can people see that one?
yeah, it's over in by the garden area, and it's over life-size cement.
What is it?
It's it's the patron saint of gardening, Saint Fiacre. So he's
It's
holding
not St. Francis?
No,
That's animals.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Saint what?
It's like Fiacre, Fiacre.
Can't,
I don't know.
I can't Google it.
He also is the patron saint. I'm not joking, of Parisian taxi cab drivers. So he's busy. He's a busy dude.
Do you have to be Parisian?
Right.
Evidently, I don't know.
Specifically
Yeah,
Parisian
right.
taxi drivers. Okay.
Well, they probably need some.
They do. So I did that because my parents actually met at St. Joseph's. They would have carnivals there every year for the parochial
At
schools.
the orphanage?
Yeah, they'd have these carnivals. So Dad was at Little St. Mary's. My mom was at St. Edward's, and they met there and as teenagers, probably in the late 1930s.
As they were little bitty students, they met
Mhm.
and would go to carnivals there?
Yeah, all the parochial school students, once a year, they would have a carnival there.
It's so cute.
So they were in high school. They were teenagers.
Tell our listeners how many brothers and sisters you have.
Last count, I had 10 brothers and sisters.
Yeah, kind of like.
You said you had.
I actually have lost a couple of sisters.
Have.
So, yeah.
Are they older than you, I guess?
Yes, the oldest, Karen, that's actually who I dedicated the Mother of Fountain to. And then just not quite 2 years ago, Kathy, the second oldest. But yeah, I grew up with 6 older sisters. That's why I always said I had 7 mothers. That's why I'm always telling Bridget, you are so lucky. You got me housebroken. You don't even realize.
That's true.
It was true. Very true.
Or they spoiled you rotten.
No,
That could have happened.
None of that was going on.
Let's see. You did and then you did the Darby, William Darby,
Yeah,
the Ranger in Fort Smith.
right.
You did Leon Helms, and then you did. I heard this one. You did a dog for a veterinarian clinic.
Oh, I forgot. Okay,
That's not around here though. Is it?
no, that was actually the Rangers again. After that, I did General Darby, then a veterinarian. In the Rangers contacted me, and so I did a Belgian Malinois dog where they wear the $20,000 vest. He sent me one, and then he said, "Oh, it's $20,000." And then meanwhile, Roman's trying to put it on our dog. I'm like, "Oh, don't get that away from me."
Why is the vest so expensive?
It's like a rescue dog thing, right?
It has a video. They communicate with it. It's anyway. So they'll blow a hole in the side of a building. These dogs go in, and you look them up on YouTube. It's amazing.
What are they called?
Belgian Malinois dogs.
Well, what's the
military canines?
Okay, yeah.
And so he had one specific one he wanted you, or just a group of them?
No, he just wanted one to honor all the dogs that have been
Lost.
Right.
Wow.
So that went to Fort Benning, Georgia.
Oh, wow, that's cool. You had one in the River Market? You know, there's all those
the
sculpture
River Market.
gardens
Yeah,
down
I have
there.
one in the River Market.
Which one?
It's the one of the guy in a suit and a wheelbarrow with a kid that has been pushing and has stopped pushing him, and is just sort of leaning up against him.
Do you know that one?
Mm-hmm, I've seen that one. Is it one of the ones by the river?
It's close to that little gazebo near the Main Street bridge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite?
I think Mother Earth is one of my favorite big, public ones. Just because it's so different and I saw it in my head, and I'd never done a cement sculpture like that. I'd never done mosaics before.
Yeah, we do need to tell people that Mother Earth is a cement sculpture.
Yes.
It's not. All these other ones we've talked about are
yeah,
bronze.
bronze. Right. So anyway, that was a journey to get that one.
So
done.
you like doing musicians, obviously. We've talked about that already. And it
Yep.
sounds like you like doing religion too, 'cause you did a big...
I did a big relief for St. Michael's Hospital in Texarkana, and I did another outdoor big relief for St. Michael's south of that. They called me and they said, we took over a hospital in Atlanta, and we're wondering if you'd... I was like, yeah, my best friend's in Atlanta. I'd love to. Atlanta, Texas.
Oh.
Like, wah, wah, wah. So, but anyway.
But you did one at Mount St. Mary's too, didn't you?
Oh, that's right. Yes. I did a resurrection crucifix for the chapel. But yeah, no, I like doing hospitals, and
I heard you say everybody sees something different.
They always do, but I think what I like about the setting of a hospital is that typically all the people that are there, that's where they need art the most. I think that's where it can really serve its best purpose, as opposed to just being outside somewhere in a park. I mean, that's great too, but they're emotionally at a point where art can really do its best work.
Yeah, when you're suffering.
Yeah, or full of anxiety because you don't know how things are going to be going, and all those mix of emotions.
Do you think art is cathartic for you?
Totally.
Could you not do it?
No.
You have to do it.
You could not.
I understood.
Did I say that right?
Completely.
No,
yes,
but
I
that's
heard
fine.
you.
All
I
right.
heard you.
Sorry.
He speaks, Kerry. Thank you. Talk about why art matters to a community. You said something when you were interviewing with French Hill that struck me so, because I'm a businesswoman, that for every dollar spent
Oh, yeah.
on art,
Right.
how much comes back to the community?
Right. So this was something I had heard somewhere. I can't even remember where I heard it. And so this was several years back when Pulaski Tech does this business of art deal. And so Jim Cargill, they pick one artist and one business person. So Jim Cargill, Arvis Bank, was the business guy, and then obviously I was the art guy that was honored that year. And so we had lunch the week before to kind of get to know one another. And I told him, I said, I heard that for every dollar community invests in the arts, there's an $11 return. And then I went later that night, I need to check that stuff up because we all have these BS detectors in our pockets now. And you can't get away. It's not as much fun as it used to be to have a conversation.
Oh, God.
So I looked it up, and Pew Charitable Research in Michigan. In Michigan, they found an over $50 return for every dollar invested.
I was shocked at that.
And the average that I was finding was in the 30s.
So for every dollar invested in your community, you get a $30 return.
In the arts.
So
you start thinking about musical events or theater and all these types of things.
Yeah, right. Restaurants.
Sure, that people coming in for all these
hotels,
right.
Taxi cab, Uber,
exactly.
airplanes, all this stuff to come see the arts.
Right, and that's why I'm so behind everything that John Godin's been doing in Argenta, because he's really been leading with art. And for instance, the Mother Earth, I mean, he trusts the artist so much. Mm-hmm. I mean, he just came to me and he said, can you do something peaceful for this place? And that also that pocket park could have easily had another townhome built on it. They didn't have to reserve it for a little pocket park.
Tax coming in.
Right. It. So it's that kind of thinking.
So you've done 2 murals. One of your murals you did was for him.
Yes, 2. I did 2 for him.
Oh, you did the... the Dogtown Proud.
So the first one
wonderful.
Thanks. So the first one I did was the bicycling mural at 7th and Main. This is the people coming off the Big Dam Bridge, riding the bicycles. And actually, I put Bridget walking our dog Daisy. She's on the left side.
Oh.
And then my old neighbor from Italy. I painted him in that one as well, right? Because he's a big bicyclist.
Bicycler.
Bicycler.
Uh-huh.
Bicycler. Okay. See, I'm breaking into song.
I like this. Keep going, everyone.
So I did that one, and then I was pitching. We were just pitching all the different artists' pitch ideas. So for years, I've been saying, "Claim Dogtown."
Me too.
Yeah,
I'm with you on that. I think it's adorable.
Yeah, I've always said it's not
negative,
dead, rotting, stinking possum town. Dogtown has swagger. Claim it and own it. Mm-hmm. So I brought the idea. He loved it. I think the mayor was a little dubious about it, but I think the committee people all said, no, we need to do this. The thing I love about working on a mural, because when you put a piece of sculpture out, you're there for the installation, you're there for a bit, but during the life of a mural, you're there, obviously, every day painting it. So you're interacting with the people more than you would be normally. And it was so great, because they're just honking, and we love it, and I need a T-shirt, I need a sweatshirt.
Did you make
all
T-shirts?
Those things. I haven't. I think
they need to make a T-shirt like that.
Right. But anyway, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, to see that reaction. And then but the first one I did was right before that was the 7th Street underpass in Little Rock.
Yes.
So that was my first time to do a mural.
That was your first mural?
Yeah, what was that, 2 years ago? I'm trying. Anyway.
Yeah, and you just did another one recently. So the 7th Street project in North Little Rock is under the train. In Little Rock is under the train bridge. Right. How did that even come about?
So probably 10 years ago or so, the Arkansas Peace Coalition, or Coalition for Peace, they were doing some murals down there. But there was a lot of confusion about who owns the walls. Does the city own the wall? Does the railroad own the walls? Blah, blah, blah. And then they would get a mural painted over.
By who?
Good question. I think it was the Department of Transportation, I think. Or, is that type of thing where it was a little unclear about all this kind of stuff. So after the George Floyd murder, then Jose Hernandez went down, and then Jermaine Gibson and did all the names. Jose painted the portrait of George Floyd. And then afterwards, it was just this influx of art. It was a very organic,
so it was totally
very
organic.
Grassroots. Yeah, no committee could have come up with that whole
So
thing.
No one stopped you? No one
The very first day I was there, some police came and asked about, who gave us permission. But after that, one of the guys from the Department of Transportation came down. I was talking to him, and he said, "Oh, we've been given word.
You're fine.
Don't touch it."
So who does own it? Who did you ever figure out who owned the wall? The railroad or the...
I think it's something funny, like right underneath the bridge, under the railroad tracks, that section, that middle section, I think the railroad owns that. I think the city owns the outer parts.
Yeah, that is
odd. The last I heard.
So I went down there and looked at your latest drawing, or mural, and it's of my friend John Kane, where we last did.
Good.
So good. So for our listeners, John Kane has been in this city ever.
Talk about a treasure. Now, he's a treasure.
He is an absolute treasure, and
Go back and listen to his interview.
And we interviewed him, and every time you listen to it, you just love it. He's got to be 90 years old, and he's never owned a car. He walks everywhere and rides the bus.
Right.
If you stop him and you say, "Hey, John, you want to ride?" He goes, "Nope."
Yeah,
I mean, it could be freezing cold.
Yes, I have done that several times. I'll have to get up crazy early for some crazy reason. There he is walking down. I'm like, John, man, no, I'm good, Kevin.
No. And I think this is really interesting about him. He never writes down a phone number. Did you know that?
No.
He remembers everybody's phone number.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I said, "John, here, call me back." He goes, "What's your phone number?" I said, "Well, write it down." He goes, "I don't need to write it down." I said, "Well, what was it?" And he reads it back to me, and I go, "How can you remember that?" And he goes, "I can just remember everybody's phone number." He can remember any phone number. Isn't that weird?
That's some kind of dark magic there.
It is
I don't want that. I don't want that in my head.
Right.
So then I went and looked at the other mural you did down there of a bunch of guys. Who are those guys?
Oh, I did just 5 people taking a knee, locking arms. It's just the idea of unity. So there's, a couple black people, Hispanic person, white person, Asian person, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, just
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did take the face, the central face from my friend Ebony Blevins. She's a photographer, and she took this portrait of someone during one of the protests that was just haunting to me. So I asked her permission to use that for the center.
Is your wife
face.
still taking photographs?
Just casually.
What were you going to ask, Gray?
Nothing.
Oh, I thought you said something.
Mm-mm.
So last question.
Mhm.
You going to go back to teaching at the art center when it opens up?
Probably not. I like teaching. I think I'm a good teacher, but probably just do workshops and things like that.
Where?
Just
Wherever.
whenever people ask me. Yeah.
So what do you want next? I mean, golly, you're just cooking with gas right now. What do you want next?
I would love the idea of these Arkansas musicians to find some traction and get the funding and
Be displayed
make that
together.
happen. Yeah.
What'd you call it?
Sculpture garden.
A sculpture garden.
Yeah. Right.
Would it just be your sculptures, or would it be other people's too?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I've had some interns. I've got one coming up this summer, and she looks like she's really good. I don't want to be the only person doing the work.
So what we need to do is make a workshop.
Yeah.
It's about making these, and then you have a committee select the ones you like out of that to go with yours that are already going to be in the sculpture garden. So you can make it twofold. You can make it a workshop along with displaying some.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
there's so many to do, and there's writers. You have the Dee Browns talking about Maya Angelou, who's actually a musician. She did
Oh yeah.
an album first, so she's crossover. Frank Stanford. Anyway, there's plenty of
Frank
work to be-
Zappa.
Frank Stanford.
Oh. All right. I can't give you the present I give to everybody because you've already gotten a desk set from me
You
with
did.
a
With
U.S.
that
flag,
flag,
an
yeah.
Arkansas flag, and
And
an
an
Italy
Italian,
flag
yeah.
for the time that you were
Right.
there. So I had to think of something else. So it looks like my people
Got it.
in the showroom gave you an Arkansas hat.
Lots
Thank
of
you.
fun
Does
paraphernalia.
that go extra large because I have a big old melon head?
That's why you're so handsome. Have you ever noticed all handsome men have big heads? So you
No.
two guys are handsome.
Thanks, Mom.
And
Thanks,
they
Mom.
take good photographs. Big heads take good photographs.
Mm.
All actors have big heads. Start looking. And so
That's all I'll see from now on.
Right.
you'll see it's
I'll
true.
be haunted by it.
You'll see it's true. And look, you got a little guitar pin to go with Johnny
Oh, I love that.
Cash.
Thank
That's
you.
a guitar pin. Look, she gave you a bunch of
Man.
stuff.
Mhm.
Oh, look, a refrigerator magnet. It says Arkansas because you love Arkansas. What is this? Oh, I didn't even know we had this. This goes
It's
on your
mine,
car.
so don't try to claim it.
It's a oval reflective decal. Like, you know how they used to put Italy on cars in the back of their car?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Oh,
we
cool.
had that.
I
That's
didn't.
cute.
Well, I'm all
Arkansas
Arkansas up.
paraphernalia.
Boy, that is
Thank
good.
you.
You got a lot of stuff. Love you.
Glad to be back, baby.
Thank you. All right, we're going to end the show. Thank you for everything. In closing to our listeners, thank you for spending time with us. We hope you've heard or learned something that's been inspiring or enlightening, and that whatever it is, will help you up your business, your independent, or your life. I'm Kerry McCoy, and I'll see you next time on Up in Your Business. Until then, be brave and keep it up.
If you liked this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the picture of Kerry's face in the center of the screen. For more of Kerry's interviews, click either video on the right of the screen. And as always, thank you for watching.